Hey, it's Alexia here. I have my assistant.
Hi.
What's your name, assistant?
My name is Sophia, and I'm your daughter, so you should know my name.
Yes, this is my eldest daughter. She is 11 years old.
Practically 13.
She's not practically 13, but she is going to help assemble our first kit today. So we are going to do a tutorial on how to build our LED lit vision board. And I chose to do a vision board for our first project because it goes so well with growth mindset. So I really believe in really trying to visualize what you see for your future. So whatever you want to be when you grow up, whether it's scientist or mother or baker or literally anything you want, I think it's really good to start with a few goals in mind and to kind of make a board that's really exciting to look at, that really encompasses everything you are and has your personality in it. So that way you can kind of, be excited for the future. And when you're excited for the future, you will be making little decisions here and there that help get you there. And that is the point of a vision board. You wake up in the morning, you're gonna look at your vision board, you're gonna see yourself being the person that you want to be when you're a little bit older or even now. And you're gonna make those little choices and those little steps to help get you there. And so we learned a little bit about growth mindset, and growth mindset is really just learning how to overcome obstacles by just saying and expecting that you're not gonna be good at something right away. No one is good at anything right away. We all have a learning curve. We all need to learn how to do things. Think of learning in that way rather than being naturally talented at something. It really inspires you to pick up new things and to try new things rather than kind of become fearful of trying new things. And so that's where that growth mindset really makes challenges less scary, makes you a little bit more brave. So I think that really ties really well with a vision board. So your kit comes with, what does our kit come with, Sophia?
An electronics bag to help you build the LED light part of your vision board.
Right, what's in here?
There's AA batteries, LED lights, there's copper tape, and some wires.
Yeah, so let's take these parts out. So you can take everything out of your electronics bag. So it kind of looks like this. It also had this inside. Okay, so let's take everything out and let's look at what we got. So we should have 4 LED lights. So ours are yellow, but yours can be blue, green, white. What other colors did we put in there?
There's red.
Red. So 4 LED lights look like this. Okay, and if you notice, one side is longer than the other. We will get into that once we start talking about electronics. 2 AA batteries. We have copper tape. Okay, so how much copper tape did we give them?
I think 4.5 feet.
I think 4 feet. 4 feet of copper tape.
Okay.
This project is gonna take you 3.5 feet, but we gave you an extra ½ foot. So that way, in case you make any mistakes or it's your first time working with copper tape and it gets all like sticky and it sticks together, that you'll have extra to work with, okay? And then we also have a battery pack connected to a switch. And if you look very closely at the switch, I soldered the pieces together. So soldering is using a metal, like you basically melt metal to metal. So that way you don't have to use any electrical tape or anything like that. So you're really just getting the metal part of the switch to the wire to the battery pack. So you don't have to worry about anything having a bad connection because I already soldered it using a soldering iron for you. So you should have one side connected to the switch, and then you should have 2 sides over here that are already stripped, and you can see that the wire is exposed on both ends, and that's super important, which again we'll talk about a little bit later. And then so that's everything for the electronics bag, but then you're gonna need something else. So we have also our little schematic, our little diagram here. So that's gonna tell you exactly where to put the copper tape, where to put the LEDs, where to put the battery pack, and we're gonna walk you through it step by step. We're gonna show you what all of this means. I'm gonna give you a little basic electronics info so that way you get to learn kind of exactly what we're doing. So let's get to work. Okay, so we are ready to get started. So we have all of our electronic components set up around our electronics diagram here. And the first step is going to be unraveling the copper wire or the copper tape. So anywhere there is purple printed, dark purple, we are going to put copper tape. So think of the copper tape as a pathway that the electricity is going to flow through. So the current is going to flow from the battery, that will be our power source, through the copper wire. And when it does that, it will have enough power to light up our LED lights on the corners. So there's gonna be a total of 4 LED lights. So Sophia's gonna go ahead and start putting the copper tape on the purple part. So both the inside one and the outside one. And what Sophia's gonna do first is measure out the pieces. So you don't have to be exact, but you do wanna make sure that the pieces of copper tape are on top of each other. And that's because the current needs to have some place to go. If the pieces of tape aren't touching each other, the current will not be able to travel through the path. So think of it as just that, a path for the electricity to flow. So she's got her first piece down. You want to make sure it's nice and flat as it can be. And she's overlapping the corner pieces here to make sure that that current is flowing all the way through. All right, perfect. So as you can see, Sophia put copper tape all around to cover the purple on both the thinner one and the fatter lines. And she made sure that anytime the copper tape met, that they overlapped. And again, that's very important for the current from the batteries or the power source to be able to flow through. If there is a gap, there won't be any current flowing through. Okay, it'll just kind of get lost into the ether. Our next step is going to be adding the LED lights, which is going to be the most exciting part, but a little bit challenging. So these are what the LED lights look like. So as I said before, there is one longer leg and one shorter leg. So the longer leg is the anode, and the anode is the positive end of the LED light. And what that means is that is where the current is going to enter the light. So the current is going to come from the battery, enter the LED light from the longer leg, the anode, and then come out through, or continue to travel through, to the cathode, the shorter leg, the negative end. So what we want to make sure to do is line all of the LED lights up so the legs are facing in the same direction. So for example, I want to have this longer leg on the outside here. So I'm going to spread these wires here, making sure to note which one the longer leg is. So this one is the anode, and I'm going to put it right on that circle. Okay, so kind of like doing a little split. So the LED is going to rest right on the circle, and the longer leg, the anode, is going to be on this outside pathway here. Okay, and the shorter leg, the cathode, is going to be on the inside part here. And you want to make sure that's consistent all the way around. So the long leg will still be on the outside here. The long leg will still be on the outside here. The long leg will still be on the outside here. So you want to always make sure that the anode, the positive side, is on the outside path. And that's because the current is going to be traveling through this circuit in the same direction the whole time. Okay, so we want to make sure that that these are all facing the same way, because if they're not facing the same way, then the current is not going to be able to pass through. Okay, so now Sophia is going to use her remaining tape to tape down the legs, and again, make sure that the metal is really coming into good contact with the copper tape. So she's going to tape that down there, and she's going to make sure it's coming into good contact with the tape on the corner. And then now she's going to tape down the other leg, and she's going to do that 4 times total. Again, always making sure the anode is on the outside path. So now Sophia has put all 4 LED lights, and she reinforced some of the edges here to really make sure that metal is coming in contact with metal. Okay, so we want to make sure that conduction is happening. And conduction is when, is just allowing electricity to flow. So materials that are conductive, like this copper tape, like lots of metal, like our skin, it allows electrons to flow. So it allows electricity to go through it. All right, so now we're going to add our power source. So we have our battery pack here. We have it connected to the switch. Okay, and then we have our wires. And so The inside is made out of copper, which is a material that's conductive, so it allows electricity to flow. And then on the outside, it's silicone, and it doesn't allow electricity to flow that well, actually. So this part around it is an insulator. So all the electricity is going to flow through the wire that's inside. So now we're going to connect this to our circuit. So we're going to tape these pieces down. One wire on one path and the other wire on the other path. And it's very important that the wire that has the switch attached to it is on the outside path. Okay, so whatever wire has the switch connected to it, you want to make sure that that is what is connected to the outside path, because this switch is what is going to allow the current to flow through the circuit or not. So we're going to tape these pieces down with the copper tape that we have. And again, really make sure that we have the, our battery is rolling away. Really make sure to have the copper tape pressed down right on the metal pieces here. And so that way there's like a really good connection. Okay, so now we're going to put the batteries in. So the positive side is the bumpy side, and it has this little plus right here. And then the negative side is the flat side. So most of you know how to put batteries in a battery pack, but in case you don't, you're going to push the flat side against the spring and then push the bumpy side down. And then you're going to do the opposite with the other side. So you can go ahead and put those in, Sophia. And let's see if it works. Go ahead, flip the switch. Woo, nice. And some of these are shining more brightly than others, and that is totally normal. So one thing that you can do is press down on the path just to make sure there's a good connection with everything. So that's one thing that you can do to really ensure that the power is getting to all of your light sources. Okay. And then once you've done that and everything is lit up, we're going to turn off the switch and we're going to add the last piece. So we are going to add the bulletin board. All right, so this bulletin board has holes pre-drilled into it at where your LED lights should be. So it might take a little finagling, but you're going to try and squeeze the LED lights through these holes gently but firmly. All right, so turn it on again just to make sure everything's working. Great, look at that. We have an LED lit bulletin board, or vision board soon. So now comes the even more fun part. So with your kit, you got some different cutouts that you can use to decorate your vision board. So feel free to cut out any ones that really speak to you. You do not have to use all of them. You can use as many or as few as you'd like. And be sure to include pictures of yourself too. Pictures of yourself, of your family, of your friends, anything that really gets you fired up and just so excited for the future. So go ahead and take a minute to cut out the ones that you want to cut out. And then in this other little baggie that has your brain pin and your patch, there are some decorative pins here, some thumbtacks. So you can go ahead and take those out. And after you've cut out the pictures or found the pictures that you want to put on your vision board, you can tack them with your own. So I included 10, but thumbtacks are really easy to get if you find that you need more. So feel free to get creative. Let's see what Sophia does.
All right, and we're back. So we have completed our vision board. Rather, Sophia has completed your vision board. How did you like it?
It was really fun. The only frustrating part was when the circuit wouldn't work, but there is troubleshooting tips, so that could be an easy fix.
All right, let's see what you got. Show us.
So I cut out a bunch of stuff, and then I also got 3 pictures printed out, and I cut some of the pictures to make it fit, and
ooh. So as Sophia mentioned, there's some troubleshooting tips. So if you cannot get your circuit to work, the first thing I tell everyone is to make sure all those corners are overlapping. If the copper tape is not directly on top of each other, it's not going to work because the electricity cannot flow. So you have to really think of it as a path. So really just make sure that those corners are on top of each other and that everything is smoothed out. You can really press on every single piece of the copper tape a few times. If you've done that and it's still not working, something else that could be wrong with it are the LED lights. If we didn't put the long legs, the anodes, on the same side, it's not going to work because again, the electricity will stop. The current will start going through the circuit. It'll start going through the lights that are facing the right way. But if one of the lights are facing the wrong way, it won't be able to cross that path. So it'll be blocked. So make sure all those anodes are on the same outside path and make sure all the cathodes are on the same inner path. So, just be very careful when you're doing that. What's something else that can go wrong? Oh, the other thing that's really important to note is for the battery pack, when you're attaching the battery and with the switch that's already attached, but when you're attaching it to your circuit, you really want to make sure that the switch is on the side of the outer path. And that's really important because the power is trying to go through and that switch is what interrupts it. So the power cannot go through if the switch is off. But if the switch is on, then it allows the power to go through, kind of like a bridge. So it's just important to have that right at the beginning of your circuit, and that's why we want to put it on that outer path, because the outer path is where all that power from the power source is flowing through. So it goes out around the outside path and then into the inside path. So that switch should be connected to the outside path. And everything should work there. Just make sure all that tape is connected metal to metal. And if you are still having trouble, please feel free to reach out. You can reach me on Instagram at USL_STEMinist. You can DM me there. You can message me on our Discord server. I'm gonna be very active on there. So feel free to not just talk about it with me, but talk about it with the other STEMinists that have a kit and see, what they need help on. And, that's kind of really the whole point of this kit, is not just to learn about science, but to also build community and to learn how to ask questions. And if things don't work out the way that you want, let's figure out how to get there. Yes, it can be frustrating. Yes, it can be disappointing, but there is always a solution to a problem. And so part of the journey is really learning how to work through that frustration and disappointment to get to the other end, because it will work. And I'm here to help you. Your peers are there to help you. So I am very excited to see what you guys come up with. So once you guys finish your vision boards, please take a picture, tag us, put it on Instagram, put it on, send it to us through DM, share it with everyone. I'm very excited. So I will see you all next time. Thank you, Sophia, for helping out. You want to say bye?
bye.
Bye.